What's up, guys? Got the oven heating up. Gonna be a long day, so finishing up this first prick. As you can see, that's all the cutting edge you're gonna get. It's just a chisel tip. Really made for penetration more than cutting, but it will have a sharp edge. I ain't trying to make these pretty and polish them or nothing. I'm just cleaning some of that foraging off of it. It's gonna be the hottest I've run my oven yet. We're up to 2100 degrees. The heat treat's from K390. Get you. Trying something a little different on that one you guys just saw. I wanted to clean it up, get all the burrs off of it so there's no more grinding to do, and then temper it. I'm hoping I get that vulcanization look and I can leave it if I don't have any more grinding to do. That's what I'm hoping. We'll find out. Maybe his first power bill should be interesting. Yeah, meanwhile, that's Shane's power bill. But I promise you, he'll let me know just as soon as it gets here. He'll give me the shirt off his back. He's gonna make me pay my part of that power bill. You can count on that. He's probably watching or listening right now if I had to guess, guys. He's at work. I already called him. He said they were dead in the water. So, that is funny, Nemo. Funny that you mentioned that. I got a couple of knives I can start grinding on. That's going to take at least an hour for that thing to get up to temp. So I may get everything set up here and do some grinding while I'm waiting. Not exactly exciting stuff. First thing I got to do is adjust my grinder. Me had spun it around for me, but it's not at a 90 anymore. I gotta get that level before I start grinding anything on it. In case you're wondering what we're heat treating today, This is a crew wear joke wolf, but I've got 6 K390 joke wolves over here. Gotta get them heat treated, get all of them off to Sawtoo Dave. He's gonna hollow grind those. So that should make that special. Gotta find a level, 7/16 range. Give me a moment. Big wrench. Nope. Don't need a big wrench. Well, I can find this 7/16 wrench. There's one. I just noticed that Lee has got 3 or 4 9mm wrenches in there. For any of you guys who've worked with hand tools very much, you'll know they send you the 9mm in the set. I've run across one 9mm bolt in 25 years of mechanicking, and it required a thin wall, deep well. It was the bolts that hold the ignition module to the ignition coil on a Toyota 22RE. Only 9mm are very experienced. As far as bolts go, I was incorrect. It was not 7/16. I can pick these wrenches up with my gloves on. Ain't really got anything groundbreaking going on today, guys. I just thought while I was working, I'd have y'all in here with me. What's up? What's up, Tyler? Oh yeah, I seen that you said you got some knives sold last night. Knife nuts. That's awesome. Hope you got what you wanted for them. Well, I still don't have the right size wrench. Back to the drawer. Guess it might be a 10mm. I'm sure that's going to be a joy to find. I don't know what Minihead did with the one he used to. There it is right there. There it is. You left it laying right there. Bear with me, guys. I gotta go find a square or a level. One of the two. It looks pretty dead on, but I don't want to eyeball it. Does look like I may have to eyeball it. It don't matter though. I have to make macro adjustments on the jig anyway. I've learned I suck at working with gloves. Is it just me? Bad butterfingers when I got gloves on. I don't have good feeling in my hands anyway, so. Here's a new belt. I didn't even think about that. Spinning that around, I can't access it. Show y'all what I'm doing there. I bolt it to the jig, then that little aluminum bar, that's my stop. So it sets my plunge the same every pass. I'm not liking not having access to that switch. We're going to change something up. I've not gotten this many. straight level. I'm a Sharpie. Thought that was a Sharpie, but it's not. How many people know what that was? Oh, good. Well, I had 3 of them in here. But for those of you who tune in often, you know I can't keep up with shit. In my imagination, it sure does seem like it's cutting faster than I'm used to. find my Sharpie. I wouldn't dare blame it on nobody. I'm horrible about putting stuff down, not being able to find it. I'm hitting that with blue paint so I can see where the belt's hitting it. I don't want it touching the edge right this second. And as you can see, it is not touching the edge. This length was 0.125 thick when we started, it's 8 inch. So what I'm measuring is I want to be exactly midline on that. I scratched it in, but that's not exact. I like to use calipers, that way I know exactly what my behind the edge thickness is. Assuming a lot of people are off work for the holidays. Well, there's a few more people in here than usual. Is our shear in here? The our shear, this is your knife, by the way. That bevel's coming out really nice. Only doing this to take up some time. The oven's heating up. It's at 1700 degrees. So you know, once that thing reaches temperature and I start heat treating, I don't have very much time in between. I have to concentrate on what I'm doing. I'm sure Donnie's in here going, "Sam, you don't have to do that, but I know." Right now, I'm about 10,000 cigarettes for tacos. Let's spend a little more time there. y'all can see it. You see that plunge line? How clean and crisp it is because of that guard. I don't know if y'all can hear that motor bogging down on me. They didn't used to do that. But I'm sure this thing was not meant to be used this much or this hard. That is certainly going to cause a problem. Soon, probably. See that nice, clean, almost 90-degree plunge. That's how I like them. Some people like a sweeping plunge. That looks cool too. This is not a knife that I intend to make more of. It's a prototype of a knife that I do, but I've made changes to it since then. So I put it out there and somebody in the community wanted it, so I'm finishing it up for them. Let's see what the oven's doing. 1800 degrees. That sounds close, but when you're talking about reaching 2100, it's still gonna take it a bit. This is the aggravating part, getting this stop on here straight. You almost need 3 hands to do it. Kind of got lucky on that one. Almost kind of fell into place. Take these claws off. There we go. tight and so rough. I wasn't driving. I can tell you how long it's been since I've ground anything. Much better. dry as soon as I'm gonna get it. About 25 thousandths behind the edge right now. A little bit thicker at the tip, which is how I wanted it. I don't want the tip snapping. There's 2,000 degrees, so we're almost ready to start heat treating anyway. That worked out quite nice. Pretty darn good timing right there. That motor is under warranty. I may have to go swap it out. Because I've got a bunch of knives to grind. I don't think she's gonna make it. I've never been able to bog it down like that before. You feel that beautiful heat coming off that oven. It feels nice. It is just a little bit chilly in here. Let's go over here in the light. We can see the finished product. Of course, there's still got to be cleaned, fines cleaned up, handles put on it, but I'm pretty damn happy with that. Nice even plunge. Nice pretty belt satin. I didn't cut this one back as thin as I do some. I stopped at about 25 thousandths because, I mean, it is a pretty big fixed blade. I don't want them using it for big fixed blade stuff and it chipping or rolling. Some of my smaller ones, I like to get down to about 10 thou. Look, are those standard belt sander belts cut in half? No, you can buy them that way, Nick. They're 2x36. Standard for the short bussy rides. Yeah, hopefully within the next 6 months, I won't be using the 2x36 anymore. Hope to be graduated to a nice 2x72. That's why I don't want to spend any money on that one. That motor is definitely getting some wear on it. I ain't never been able to bog it down like that. We're pretty much right on time. We're at 1 hour and 11 minutes. We're almost at temperature. It's typically about 1.5 hours it takes it to reach temperature. So that's pretty par for the course, I guess. Get a knife in there. As it's getting back up to temp, I'll mix my dry ice and stuff, my crow. We got my My homemade doer's finished up, so I'm anxious to use that. It's going to drop below, it's 2040 right now. It'll drop below that. Just me opening the door. So I'm going to go ahead and put the knife in now. So it's going to lose some temp when I open the door anyway. So here we go. All right, while we're waiting on that, we'll get the dry ice bucket mixed up and ready to go. I'll be right back. My biggest fear is if this thing didn't seal in the bottom and all that alcohol is just leaking out in there. That would suck. Fortunately, I've got enough dry ice to do it in the other bucket like we did last time. If so, I'll just keep an eye on that, see how far down it's going. 2033. Crazy how fast that thing will lose temperature. But when it's that hot, I guess it doesn't take not very long for it to drop back down. I really should have brought some metal coat hangers, maybe some hooks. I've got wires, but a nice stiff metal coat hanger would have worked better. My first shop was a basement. I miss it so much. Never cold or hot. Yeah. Clearly, Kyle's not in the chat, or he wouldn't be calling me. It's 2,055 degrees, guys. Yeah, I was going to answer that, Donnie. I'm glad you did. It's really not worth it. Because you can't just heat treat it, you have to anneal it, and that takes forever. The time you spend getting it annealed just to heat treat it, you 100% chance it's going to warp because it's already ground. I guess the only circumstance in which you would do that, that knife would have to mean a lot to you. If it means a lot to you, you probably don't care what the edge retention is like. That's my guess. Get some hangers made while I'm waiting. Two more. I am really uncoordinated today. I've dropped everything I've touched. All right. Got enough hangers to do all 6 knives. We're almost up to temp, so we can start the timer. I guess you guys can see the screen from there. Oh, well, maybe not. I forget how little that thing is. Yeah, we're at 2084. And around this oven, I can't take my my jacket off. So I got a couple of minutes so I can look at chat. It's the size of shot that makes it so awesome. I mean, I could do a lot with a small shot, but having a large one can grow into with plenty enough store. Yeah. Yeah, I think he told me his space was 40 by 60, not counting the living quarters he's building on the side of it. They're shelving all up around the top. You put those things. So nice, that's for sure. Heating it's a little bit of an issue, but yeah, this is Alabama, man. You don't get, even during the dead of winter, most of the time it's still in the 40s, maybe climb up into the 50s during the day. So kind of like we're dealing with sub-zero. Typically, we're not even dealing with sub-freezing temperatures. When we get them. But it's not part of the everyday life throughout the winter season anyway. So we're at 2094. Go ahead and get everything ready. Make it ready to quench. This is the highest temp I've run at. K390 requiring 2100 degrees to reach 66 and a half, 67. Meathead, there should be some long pliers in one of the toolboxes if you need them to reach in that bucket. I'm hoping I don't have to reach in the bucket, Meathead. Use hangers, but I guess I could always dig around in there with the tongs, but I appreciate that. $20.98, $99. Business worth the counter. It'll fluctuate back and forth. It's hard for an oven that reaches 2200 degrees. It's a struggle on it to hold 2100. So let's see, we're at 125, so at 143, we'll pull it. This is a 240 volt oven, so that does help it hold temp, help it get there. But have you hit a consistent? I don't know yet, Donnie. I bet the machine shop, they closed for till New Year's. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, till New Year's. No, not New Year's, Monday. Yeah. They closed through the week of Christmas. And this is the first K390 I've ever done, so I haven't hit anything yet. I'm just following Larry's recipe, hoping it works out right. Wish I knew how to do them Sharpies, man. I say that and then I found one after all that looking. Really not much to do. So I have to pay attention over here. I do have some good news I can share with y'all while we wait. We got a package. Let's see what's in said package. Empty box, some full packets, and bunch of knives. This is the box that I sent to Brian that he was unable to heat treat, so he shipped them back to me now that I have an oven so I can do them myself. Got all kinds of stuff in here, just standard little drop points. Got a bunch of Nitro V thugs. So like I said, I got a bunch of heat treating to do. Got some 4V, some M4 stuff. Some heaters in there, amongst other things. And I've got my first attempt kitchen blades. This ought to be interesting. I mean, you just grind it thin, right? Nice and thin. Get it nice and slick so food don't stick to it. We'll find out. "14 minutes. Was that my thug?" One of them is, yeah, done. One of those certainly is yours. There's several of them in here. I sent off a bunch of them. I do, before I heat treat these, now that I've got my finger tool jig set up a little better, I'm gonna make that finger tool a little bit bigger. The ones I've done recently are bigger. Some of this stuff was just kind of, oh, here's the third iteration of the bitch, if anybody wants to see it. Still not happy with it. But the knife I just ground was the second prototype for it. This is the third. The only thing I'm not happy with is I lost a 1/4 inch of blade because I ground that choil way too big. So this is going to come back and provide about another 1/4 inch, maybe more, of blade. That's going to be the bitch when I'm done with it. Yes, there's a hole in the blade. No, it's not necessary. It didn't really do anything, but I like holes in blades, so it has one. And it's Nitro V. It's tough as shit. It ain't gonna matter. Where are we at? 1:30, 13 minutes. Oh, man. I don't know why my nose is running so bad. I'm not sick. But I've found as I've gotten older, my nose runs a lot. I guess it's post-nasal drip or what, I don't know, some old man shit. But it does. Every time I eat, my nose runs. So I have to have, like, paper towels. Chol? Yeah, that's right, dude, chol. Oh, it's not pronounced choil. I don't know where y'all got that shit at. It's chol. But yeah, I cut that one way too big. I don't know if the bitch would be popular at all. To be honest, I made it for myself. That one's not for sale, especially since it's it's not necessarily right. It's not how I want it. I'll have one for myself, and that way I've got something to show. And if somebody wants one, I can make them one. I'm kind of excited about these Santokus though. They're not huge, just 8-inch. I know I got to put a little belly in the blade. They're perfectly flat right now. They got to be able to rock. So still got to do that. I was gonna do it after I hardened them, but now that I've got them back, they're not hardened. I can do it beforehand. That's not your nose stuck in dirty panties way. It probably is. But that's the price I have to pay. I guess I'll pay it. Sometimes I wonder why I turn this camera on. I know this is not riveting entertainment, but got as many people in here right now as I do on a Sunday night. So, Dollar, if you're still in here, here's your knife that I ruined. I reground it and fixed the tip, but as you can see, I believe this thing is entirely too thin. I ground her way too thin. I'm going to try to finish it. If it holds up, being this thin, that'd be awesome. But I want to show you the other one. Let's see if you can, I don't know if the camera pick up the difference in the thickness. Look at that. It's almost half. This would be a slicey motherfucker if it holds up. I mean, it holds up to what though? You know, the tip broke because it's not hardened and it hit the concrete at 500 miles an hour. So, you know, it'd probably be fine. But that'd be the thinnest knife I've ever ground. So I'm going to do it just to see. I mean, at this point, it's not going to cost me anything but a full packet. I don't know if Tyler's still in here. Got 5 minutes, y'all, before we go to quench and cryo. It looks like my cryo is working out. I don't think it's leaking down. Looks like it's about the same as it was. I'm gonna add a little more to it so I don't have to dip it so deep. Got more dry ice I can add as I go, if need be. We'll see how that works out. I don't think it's leaking though. It doesn't look like the bottom of the bucket is freezing and it's not cold. So I think it's sealed off. You remember how the other bucket, there was an ice ring formed around the bottom? This one don't have that, so I think it's sealed. In case you guys haven't seen this, there's just a piece of 4-inch PVC in there. That's what's holding the alcohol and the dry ice. So I can dip the knives down in there. Oh, we're at 1:30. Okay, we still got 8 minutes. I read that wrong. Let me put this one over here on the heat treated and ground rack. So I know all that one needs is handles. Not a bad looking knife. I think the blade to handle ratio is definitely off. But like I said, that's why I changed it up. Literally the only difference between this one and the one I'm keeping for myself is it's got a big finger troll in it and the handle's probably 3/4 of an inch shorter. That is an excessive amount of handle hanging out the back, but if you ever had to factory reset somebody, it'd be great for that. I ain't bragging on myself, y'all, but considering I don't have great equipment, I think I do a pretty damn good job on these grinds. They just keep getting better. And like I said, I don't have professional knife making equipment yet. Or I don't have professional knife grinding equipment. I do have a professional oven, I guess. What did I say? 1:43. Yes, we have 7 minutes. It'll be a long day, guys. Still got all that tempering to do. I want to get these K390 choke walls done so I can ship them along with these crew wear thugs to Sawtooth Dave all in one box, get them all hologram and get them back. That's the plan. I love taking that thing out and being able to see through the packet. You see that glowing orange thing. Donnie, why aren't you working? Heat treating is both mindless and exhausting. It is. Professional equipment, your hands and brains. Yeah. No 220 in my shop. Well, I don't have a shop, and I got lucky. Somebody had set this corner up for me over here. He put me a 220 plug in right there. He don't cut corners when it comes to his shop and his playthings. Whew. I'm sure he put that over there for a welder for himself, but you know. I don't know if that's the only 220 in here. I think there's one over between two of the front doors, but I don't remember. Yeah, we got a lot to heat treat. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 25 blades right there to heat treat. We've already done about 12. I don't even know if there's, yeah, I still got 1, 2, so 25, 26, 27. 27 blades to heat treat in the near future. It's gonna put me, if I finished them all at the same time, I'd be right at 40 something knives. That's not counting the pricks, which are tempering right now. I got some more over here that I drilled. I don't know if I want to do anything with them. You guys can give me your opinion because they don't have that hook at the top. You know, I mean, I don't guess it has to have that. I could just, when I do my epoxy dip wrap, I could make it a little bigger at the end, but I don't know if I'm gonna do these or not. Really depends on how those go. Those are nitro V, they're not crew wear. I mean, I don't know that you really need crew wear. That's my little bird trout bottle right there. I love that finish. Wish I could keep it, but you can't. Medford does it somehow. I don't know exactly how he manages it, or if it affects the heat treat at all. Because if it does, I wouldn't want any part of it. 2 minutes. There's something going on in there. I can hear it. Get prepared. So the bunch of y'all off till Monday too? Did y'all get the 5-day weekend for Christmas? Looks like a lot of the randoms dropped out. We were up to good bit of people. We dropped that down to 18. But I don't blame them. It's not exactly exciting shit. Here we go. I was not prepared with my hair hose like I should have been. That looks smart. Oh, come on. All right, in the crowd we go. Put my plates in water. So I know I have cool plates to quench with. I got some of those freezer packs over here I'm gonna grab and throw in the water with. this to get back to 2100. I'll do this 5 more times. I don't know if I'll stay live the entire time, but we'll see. I have learned with these vertical lives, it seems like the longer you stay live, so it's in that last 30 minutes to an hour or so is when you get, when the views start climbing. Get her done. Arshir, did you see? I don't know if you were in here when I showed it, but I got your knife ground today, dude. Oh, we got an error. Anyway, look at that flat grind, son. I just took it to about 20 thou behind the edge. That's actually about where a factory Spyderco is. It's about 30 at the tip. I wanted to leave a little toughness in the tip. But yeah. That's yours, Archie. I don't know why sometimes when you open the door, if the temperature drops too much, it'll set that alarm off to let you know that the temperature is not high enough. I mean, you'd think the programmer would know it's going to lose temp every time you open the door. Hashtag 25-hour live. Well, I'll tell you, every time I've done this, I've been here for 10 hours by the time I finish the temper. But you know, you can do other things while you're tempering because that's 2 2-hour cycles, so you got time. And I do have stuff to grind if I wanted to. But I'll tell you, when it comes to grinding, man, I really like having a bunch of bevels to grind, just knives stacked up. I can just pull my stool up, get in front of that grinder, get in the groove, and just grind one after another till I'm done. Yeah, you know, you have heat treat days, you have grind days. I ground our shears just because I knew I had an hour and 20 minutes before the oven came up to temp. And now we know, I've never timed it before, I know how long it takes to grind a bevel. Hi, Grandpa, how are you? I'm all right, and I am a grandpa. You're 100% correct. I'm old, going bald, losing my teeth. Grandpa. Let me show you something, guys. If you're gonna design knives, go on Amazon. I think there's about $15. It comes with 3 of them. These French curves. That's all you type in is French curves. It's got nearly every curve and radius you could think of. So like these kitchen knives I was just talking about doing. When I go to set the belly on that, that's exactly what I'll use. I'll lay that French curve because that's not a straight line. I'll lay that French curve on there. And I'll trace that out so that I know I have a continuous sweep and a belly to that knife. Anytime I get ready to draw out a design or a shape, I grab these. There's 3 different sizes. They got all different size curves and sweeps. Pretty cool. Still willing to bet. If you ask Mr. Sharif McDonald, well, I don't know. If Sharif's doing everything on the computer, he might not use French curves, but I bet he did at one point in time. Hey, let's see what this temperature is. I wonder if this temperature is going to go down this way. I bet it airs out. Yeah, that's right. I can't even read it. the side of that oven, it's 2066 degrees inside. The side of the oven is 300 degrees. But it will not measure that dry ice. Kind of makes sense, I guess. $20.72. So hurry up and wait. Sorry about that. It's weird that grinder, I could feel it bogging when I put pressure on it. You know, more than it used to. But it also seemed like it was removing material faster. I mean, I know it was a brand new belt, but you always think the material is just flying off. But when you're doing a full flat grind, as that bevel starts to ride up that blade, get up close to the spine, think about it, you're going from grinding off a 1/4 inch of steel to a 1/2 inch to 3/4 to an inch to 1 1/4, 1.5 inches. You end up with that big flat touching the belt. Man, it slows everything way down. Yeah, I don't trust myself freehanding. I wish I could, but and maybe one of these days I will. I feel like I'm getting better at it. Just you know, like when I use the Scott Sprite belt to you know, put a satin finish on the blade. After I grind it, I freehand that. So I feel like I'm getting more of a feel for it, but just not quite ready to take that freehand plunge yet. If by sketchbook you mean stack of papers and drawing, take to my wall, then yes. Yeah, exactly, Donnie. I might knock this just to see how thin I got this son of a bitch. That little knife is thin. I'm gonna knock it and see. Because it was 3/32 when I started. Holy shit. Yeah, it's only, that knife's only 80 thousandths. But I mean, I guess at 80, it can still make a knife. We'll find out. I blew through it. It was ruined anyway. It ought to be a cutting motherfucker. Almost there. Oh, Tyler is still here. Sick. You cut cheese with it, Tyler. If I don't run it, I'm gonna try. I'd love to save it, but I'm just and I'm not gonna act like I was trying to see how thin I could get it. That was an accident. I had no idea it was, and all I was trying to do is get the surface nice and pretty. I thinned that some of it right up. Nick, again, just stacks of some files away. It should complete them, Doug. Donnie, you ain't getting shit done. That's what Mayhead tells me all the time. So you get off that damn internet, you get some work done. How thin is it? It's 75 thousandths. Pretty damn thin. This knife slung off the grinder on me, broke just the very tip off of it. I ground it back in and it bent right here, but I straightened it and it's not heat treated yet. That ought to make a hell of a cutter if I can get the bevels right on it without ruining it. I'm smoking right now. Okay. I know how important that is. I worked at a tattoo shop. I know guys couldn't write their name without being high. All right, we're at 2100. So, 2:18. So 2 hours, 18 minutes. Let me go write that down because I'll get to talking and forget. Aaron said 15 to 20 minutes, 2100 degrees. So I'm going at about 19 minutes. Keep in mind, 2 minutes of that don't really count because you have to let the steel get up to temp, not just the oven temp. What'd he say? Smoking's bad, okay. Nick, I've got some super cool scale material coming. It'll be a week or so before it gets here, but I've got some badass blue, black, silver, and neon green Mopar 4-dot coming. I've got some Damascus G10. I got some purple Damascus G10 and some like ocean blue or ocean green Damascus G10. It's pretty. Get that lift manual out of the black toolbox and read it. Looks like we're going to have to tackle that. What, installing the lift? Ain't shit to that. You got a hammer drill, don't you? So you are going to install the 4-post? I thought you were going to trade it for a 2-post. I got you done. I didn't know you'd use K399. In all actuality, Donnie, I'm going about 16 minutes. If you figure if I leave it in there 18 minutes, that first 2 minutes, the blade might not even be up to temp. So I just wanted to fall somewhere in the middle. What he said. I would trade somebody's baby for a post lift. Oh, you're speaking on crew wear. Okay. Yeah, I am going to up my temp on my crew wear. Well, it depends on how my HRC comes out. Yeah, we got a 4-post lift. I'll see if I can get it on cameras. The posts are just standing up right now. Lucky some drunk asshole had knocked them over. We got to get them bolted in the floor. That ain't nothing but a thing, man. We go to setting the cables, we will need the owner's manual then. I remember that. It wasn't super technical. There's big adjustments at the top. You just turn those nuts to get it all to come up level. I installed the two post lifts in my shop. I never did a 4, but can't be that much different. Hopefully we'll get that GMC in here one day, get a transmission in it. Pisses me off because it pulls fine. It don't slip at all. But man, when that cement shifts into second gear, I feel like it's going to beat the U-joint side of it. You can always easily have your blades poked for hardness. Yeah, I've got a machine shop here in town that's going to let me come by and poke them probably Monday. I mean, I could send them to Brian, to Billy. I know several people with HRC testers. Steve don't have an HRC tester, but he's only 10 minutes from Pop's Night Supply. They have one, so he has to take every batch. When he's done heat treat, he takes them over there to HRC test them. Back down to 15. I'm always curious to see how many people stopped in here when I do these vertical. I think the last one we did, we had over 3,000 people stop by. I'm sure a lot of them turned it on, saw my face, realized it wasn't that entertaining, and moved on. But I know you guys are just in here to talk to each other. I could probably go live from the toilet, just camera on my feet for an hour and a half. Y'all jump in. I have a bunch of heavy crap, so I got a 14K for. Oh, so it's a different 4-post. No, we can make that happen, man. You got a hammer drill. The cables are the pain in the ass, though. I'm a little confused. I guess the cables on the 4-post go across the floor. You're competing with KC for timeline. Oh, shit, I'll lose that one. Oh, KC. I wouldn't feel bad about being live when he's on, but hell, he's live all the time. I can't say much. I've been live a lot here lately, so I guess I'm just as guilty. What heavy crap you want to put on a lift, man? You say you got a lot of heavy crap, and I know you got a flatbed out there, tractor, forklift, all that shit, but hey, do you still have your F-250? That is a good question, Palmer. I don't know if it's got the center jacks or not. It sure is handy if it does, though, man. Those things are perfect for pulling transmissions, doing front end work, even brakes. You know, you think it'd be easier just to put it on a 2-post to do brakes, but if you do it on a 4-post, you drive the car up on it, lift the car up, then lift the car off the 4-post lift with those center jacks. It gives you a nice workplace, a place to lay your parts. Yeah, it has 2 center jacks and plates like on an alignment lift. Yeah, that's awesome. We got about 8 minutes to go. Get down a little closer, we'll pull those quench plates out. I don't want anybody accusing me of quenching in warm plates. It affected my HRC, so I dip them in cold water. That is one advantage of them not being connected to a vise. I thought they had to be in a vise, and then I watched, Larry Thomas don't use a vise. He uses the lead weight. Sits on top of his plates, that's it. So I'm using marble, just as heavy, just a lot bigger. But I like the fact that I can put them over in that cold water, get them back down. It sucks that heat out faster. I take up a little space. Yeah, but if you have to swap a rear end out and something, man, pull it up on there, use the center jacks to lift the frame, zip everything loose, just let the lift down, just roll the rear end, wheels, tires, and all right off the back of it. It's definitely more convenient than a 2-post. I mean, 2-posts are great, but after working on a 4-post, you want to go back to a 2-post. The only thing a 4-post is a little bit of a hindrance, almost like you're doing a lot of tire work. It's just because of the extra 2 minutes it takes to set the center jacks. Checking the temperature on those crew wear pricks. It's tempering at about 325. There's still going to be a high HRC. That one I went ahead and cleaned up and ground. I'm really curious to see what the finish is. If I can leave that temper vulcanization on it, I want to. Probably should have done all three. But it'd be cool to see a difference anyway. But I think it's just going to be that amber color that that you get when you temper. It's not going to have those blues and purples in it that you get from this thing. Donnie, do you know how Medford does that? How he does that vulcanized finish without running the heat treat? Or is he running the heat treat? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, a 2-post is definitely more convenient if you don't need the 4-post. But man, when you need it, there's no supplement in that. When I say it's more convenient, it's only more convenient because it's a little quicker to set up. Be a good time to turn the compressor on. I will be glad to get that left in though, Mayhead. I'm kind of excited about working on some hot rod shit. $2:18. I was wrong on the time again. We have 7 minutes left. Not bad, guys. I don't know if it hurt anything for them plates to be damp. Seems like a good idea to dry them. Yeah, they're nice and cold too. Crazy how fast they work. Like I thought they had to sit there for 10 minutes. Man, it sucks the heat out in a couple of minutes. I don't know who you're talking to, Donnie, but you're 100% correct. Austenitizing. Quenching. Crowd. Temper. It's all fucking super time consuming. And again, for what I was paying Brian to do this, I wouldn't have done it. I'm willing to do it for you guys, but not for somebody trying to sell knives. I mean, I guess Brian just, when he had heat treat day, he added mine to it, but it's still, and he's probably capable of, doing more at a time than I am anyway. But just didn't seem like it was a worthwhile venture for him. Nick, you can't do that to any steel. Mild steel won't heat treat. There's not enough carbon in it it won't ever get hard. Chromium and vanadium are what form carbides and get super hard in there, and the more I don't want to just say the more you have, the harder it gets, because it's a balance. You can have too much chromium and it'd be super corrosion resistant, but not get super hard. I'd love to know the history behind that. Like, who was the first guy that, when they were forge welding some iron. I'm sure it wasn't even on purpose. I'm sure, when they dug up the iron ore in this certain spot, that there was some vanadium deposits there. Vanadium ended up in the steel, and they realized that their swords lasted longer and stayed sharp longer than the enemy's did. So they constantly, mined their ore from that same place. And somebody eventually figured out how to tell if the ore had that stuff in it. I don't know, but it's very interesting stuff to think about how long ago they had that figured out. I say that long ago. I mean, in the history of the world, it hasn't been that long. Three minutes. But in the history of the world, we hadn't been walking completely upright. Learn how to make a wheel either. So I'm sure there's a YouTube documentary on forging metal and how they learned how to make it harder and stronger. That's why blacksmiths were so important back in the day. Your best blacksmiths knew what ores to mix together to make the strongest armor and make it as light as possible. They're really doing the same shit we're doing now, just without all the technology. That guy back then, had to know, just by memory of looking at steel and how orange it is when it comes out of the forge, that it's the right temperature. And he had to learn how long to keep it at that temperature. Impressive stuff. Blacksmith was an important guy back in the day. I mean, you think about it. If you were alive back then, you heard of these soldiers whose swords were snapping everybody else's in half and all this shit. You'd go find out where he got that. You'd have to own one too. 1 minute. I thought about metallurgy that when I was mechanic, and I always wondered, man, if they made these parts out of high-end materials, how long would they last? I don't think they're very interested in that, because car manufacturers don't want shit to last forever. Like, you look at all the pot metal that boat motor parts are made out of, how weak all that shit is. All right, it's time. I've been told by a couple of heat treat guys that blowing out air in there is not necessary. And I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it, but if it helps it quench faster, I mean, everybody that's told me that said it doesn't hurt, but they haven't noticed any difference in HRC between when they do it and when they don't. But until somebody tells me, hey, it's a bad idea, I'll continue doing it because most people do. Donnie, I think you told me you still force air, right? Wouldn't doubt we're getting another error code. We'll find out. I don't get it, man. How does it pull all that heat out and the aluminum don't get hot? That aluminum's still cool. Do your plates not get warm? I mean, maybe they are on the face. Yeah, the F-250 is at the house. Okay. I still remember the night you and Hee-Haw raced y'all's F-250s. Just slung the bottom end out of it. Yeah, not hot at all. That's crazy. I mean, just 2 minutes ago, it was glowing orange like the sun. I do think I'm gonna get me some talc though, because that was the first experience I've had with the packet wanting to stick a little bit. I knew that was a possibility. It didn't on that one. God, it's beautiful, man. I love those colors. Won't keep it out too long though. Into the crowd she goes. That's pretty cool watching that thing smolder like a witch's cauldron. All right, Sherry, I'm going to be around for a little while. Shane, get at me about the full stick. And I don't know if you noticed, Donnie, that time I just took that really thin knife I had and I ran it into packet. Kind of popped it loose first, where on the last one I didn't, and I had to peel it off of it. But I will get with you. I know I've read that you can use, yep, got an error. It was open too long. I know you're supposed to be able to use talc. That's weird. It only dropped down to 1990 degrees, but it still set an error off because it dropped below temp. I mean, maybe I'm taking too long. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm just fucking around when I've got the door open. But I guess for safety reasons, it has to be pretty picky. Now, it wasn't really welded on. I mean, on that first one, it was stuck pretty good, but it peeled off pretty easy. It didn't weld on. But if talc's not expensive, I may get some and just put some on the blades to keep that from happening. But at 2050 degrees, I didn't have that issue. At 2100, I did. But like I said, it wasn't welded. It was just stuck a little bit. Oh, what all this noise outside? Man, I'd almost swear you was here. I think it started raining a minute ago. I know that can mess with your hearing in here because the rain gets pretty loud. It sounds like something running out there and not the compressor. You're not here, are you? No, you wouldn't be on here if you were here. Well, I don't hear nothing. I don't know. It's just when I come back inside. It must be light rain on the roof, I guess. One thing about this roof, it is loud. I was here one day. It actually scared me the first time it come a heavy rain. I thought it was a damn tornado was just to carry us off. But it was just a average hard Alabama rain. I use aluminum oxide powder. Don't take much. Okay. Name a car for an edit of Bel Air. Tyler, I wouldn't think you'd have a hard time trading a titanium Maverick for a Shaman. I mean, I could be wrong, but that sounds like a pretty decent trade to me. I mean, as far as which one I'd rather have, I don't think I would have a preference. It's just whichever one I wanted at the time. But I don't know the exact sales price on each, what they're worth, but I assume that so many people have, multiple Shamans. That wouldn't be a hard trade. I shared your post though. Just stick with it and wait. Get what you want for sure though. Shaman is a heck of a knife, and it'd be a little harder for you to find. But I'll tell you right now, I would still rather have the Bodacious. I like finger choils, but it's not that I like the Bodacious more than the Shaman. I just like the Bodacious scales more. I don't like contoured scales that much. I just like a knife that lays down flat. That may be crazy, but yeah, that's what it was, me. It's rain starting and stopping. Oh, we already been live 2.5 hours. And I'm on knife number 3. 3 more to go. Of course, an hour and a half of that was warm up. And Donnie reminds me how fortunate I am because according to him, this thing heats up twice as fast as his does. Chamfers greater than contour. I agree, Donnie. Keep on cooking. Yeah, you're right, Mimo. You're absolutely right. That's what I planned. Well, I was going to do that, but I kind of abused my Shaman. I hadn't hurt it. It just looked rough. And Meathead found it laid in the shop and felt horrible for it. So he took it home, cleaned all the epoxy off of it and stuff. So I'm going to get it back from him when I ship this stuff off to Satu Dave. I'm going to ship the Shaman with it and I don't care if he gets it much thinner because Meathead's a little rough on knives. I'm going to have him just do a satin because I've kind of ruined the finish. I'm going to have him put a satin on it and send it back, and we'll let Meathead keep it. Because I never should have traded that knife that way. And I really need something quick and easy to sharpen. I'm going to make something myself just for cutting this stainless steel foil. No, I agree. It feels great in hand. I don't know, man. I just don't like the way it looks. But those rounded, I mean, that's just a personal thing. It does feel great. I'm sure if I had to cut rope with a knife all day long, I might appreciate the contoured scales too. But, you know, just a personal preference thing. Almost there. That's the thing, these little breaks that you have to take waiting on this thing, it's not long enough to really get into something. Because if you do get into something, well then you're not paying attention to the time, you fuck something up. I mean, I guess if I had a knife I'd put scales on, I could be sitting here hand sanding right beside the oven where I could watch it. But I'm gonna flip those plates over. I got about 2 inches of them stick out of the water, so I have to flip them over kind of mid-cycle. I don't know that I have to. They were cool when I put them in here. But being new at this and not having a reputation as a seasoned heat treat guy, I want to take every step I can at doing it the very best I can, because I'd like to get that reputation. And, you know, talking with Alex Steingraber, especially Alex Steingraber, he's like, dude, if you follow the recipe, you're just as good as I am right out of the gate. Just like, it's just that simple. Todd, I don't know what you're talking about grinding yourself. I'm assuming you're not talking to me. All right, Donna, get back at it, buddy. Yeah, you know, Mimo, as much as I love Spyderco, I will say this. Every Spyderco that I have put aftermarket scales on, especially AWT, it just feels like a whole different knife. It feels like a much more expensive, much more refined cutting tool when I put aftermarket scales on them. That's why I've got aftermarket scales for my Mannix. I've already got aftermarket scales on my Para 3. I've got a Sage 5 and Rex 121 coming that I'm looking for aftermarket scales for already. They feel like completely different lines in a very good way. Like, they feel levels better. The action's better. Everything's better. And that's not to say the factory Spyderco G10 scales feel bad, because they don't. They feel better than a Benchmade, that's for damn sure. Todd, I know this might sound odd, dude, but I am a firm believer. Let me get the time. 2:48. I'm a firm believer in slick 'em all. I get better action out of Spyderco with slick 'em all on the washers than I do anything. There's probably people in the chat that would argue that about KPL or something, but my experience, slick 'em all makes the Spyderco smooth as old glass, man. And I've never polished my washers. It's kind of like that stripe I was talking about that Justin is selling on OCD for EDC. Kyle checked it out and he agreed it's a good stripe, but he wasn't as excited about it as I was. But as I'm not a stripe expert, I just know this. I owned 4 stripes before I got that one. And I never felt like I was doing anything when I stropped the knife. I never felt like I was accomplishing. There was no feedback. And when I got done, the knife didn't feel any sharper. But on that one, it did. So to me, it's the best strop I've ever used. I'm not saying it's the best strop ever made, because I don't know that. It's the best strop I've ever used. It's $40, and it changed stropping for me. So it's worth every penny. But like my Beaver Craft, you know, they've got that black leather, and it's so slick and so hard, like I can't even feel the diamond working. But that one is not like suede, but it's got just enough texture to it. I don't know, man. I can feel it, just like you can feel a knife on a stone. Not as aggressive, but I can feel it. So I really enjoy it. Yeah, it does take a lot to impress Kyle. I'll piss with it some more. Wait a minute. I use that too. I'll piss with it some more. Unless you're making fun of me saying it'll give you a UTI. I've never put Sycamore in my pee hole. That was a joke, y'all. Viewership is definitely dropping. I don't know how much longer we'll run. This is getting kind of repetitive. But I mean, if you guys just want somewhere to hang out and talk, I'll leave it running. I got nothing else to do. Wish that thermometer would have told us how cold that is in dry ice. It's clearly working. The bottom of the bucket did not freeze. So apparently Mayhead did a good job of making a homemade Dewar's. There's been no temperature loss. It'd probably be even better if it had a sealed lid. I can tell already the chunks of dry ice aren't dissipating nearly as fast. There's still big fat chunks in there floating in that alcohol. That's mighty nice of Brian, man. That kid already made full packets for all my knives. All I gotta do is crimp them up. That's pretty cool. Just so y'all know, I'm sure some people would be wondering, wouldn't I be upset? And absolutely not upset at Brian. I knew I was hindering Brian when I started this, and what Brian doesn't understand is that this would have never happened without Brian. Todd, I know what you're talking about, the orientation. I know some of them I've discovered are perfectly flat on one side and have a slight dome on the other side. I don't know why that is, and I don't know which. I'm sure for blade stability, the flat side would be better. But for action, the dome side would actually be better because the less surface it's touching, the less friction there is. Man, wow, hats off. You're a hard worker from India. I'm not hard working right now, man. We're just heat treating, so it's a lot of sitting here waiting on this oven. But we're like about 10 minutes before we take this 2,100 degree blade out. I know it's a lot more fun watching those Pakistani guys put it in the fire, show you thread, blow air on it. That's all entertainment. I've watched hours of it, trust me. And it is amazing what they do with what they have. You know, it looks like a lot of those knives coming out of Pakistan are actually 5160 because every video I watch of those knife shops, they've got stacks of truck loop springs out there. that they're cutting up, forging into blades. So, I mean, that should make a good knife, 5160. I think it's the production, the production high quality Damascus that they're hitting everybody on Instagram. That's just the garbage. Man, they always make them so big. And you know, different cultures, man. They probably use knives more than we do. Wes, Brian certainly is. He's a really smart dude. Like I said, you know, he's having a rough time. I understood. I think he was concerned that I might be upset. I'm not upset at Brian at all. He got them back to me in a quick time so I could do them myself. And like I said, I'd have never done the first batch if it wasn't for Brian. That was my excuse forever, was I don't have anybody to heat treat. And I finally asked, and he was like, man, I'd be glad to help you get started. But there was never a long-term plan of Brian heat treating my knives forever. That was never discussed. If this rain gets too loud, guys, y'all let me know. I'll end this if I need to. It's pretty loud to me. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Thoughts on Protect knives? I absolutely love Protect knives. Protect knives they're not the heat treat kings of the industry by any means. They do a good heat treat. But everything else about their knives is excellent. Their heat treat's good, don't get me wrong. But if somebody was looking to buy, you know, $200 to $350 high-end knife, I wouldn't think twice about telling them to, you know, that Protect should be their first one. I own 2 or 3 Protects. I've owned probably 10 and loved every one of them. The only reason I don't own them now is I've owned several Protect button locks, and it's not that Protect doesn't make a good button lock. I've just learned over time. It took me 2 years to figure it out. I'm not a fan of button locks. You know, for those of you who know me and the issues I have in my hands, they should be the best locking mechanism for me. And I can manipulate them easily. They just bore me. I don't have my glasses on. I guess I could put them on. I could put squinting at the screen. Don't worry, man. You would have a wonderful year, 2025. But healthy and wealthy. I pray to God to bless you. Great luck, both health-wise and wealth-wise. Happy New Year. Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Now, as long as we don't start talking about my car's extended warranty, we'll be all right. Wes, I remember that. He was on a live stream and she walked in with a plate of snacks. I laughed my ass. Not laughing at him, but I mean, we all knew. You know, you can't watch or listen to Brian very long without realizing he's a little bit of a mama's boy. She came in mid live stream, brought him a little plate of snacks. It was the best thing ever. Nick, I don't think so. I think they're done. Not with knife modding, but I think Lindy had some negative experience with online folks, and I just don't think she was willing to put up with the bullshit and just stepped away from it. So no, I don't think so. You know, she had a little bit of drama with her first knife, the knife she made, looking a lot like a Steingraber. I don't remember which one it was, the Mako or whatever. Anyway, you know, and she even, you know, mentioned to Alex, you know, that it came out kind of looking like his, and he was like, "Man, make it." You know, he's like, "That's you're not copying anything, just make it." But some people gave her shit about it. Then I think some people might have gave her some shit about her looks. I don't know if it was positive or negative, but I know there was at least some unwelcome flirting. So yeah, I think they're just done. Well, the only part that upsets me is that, uh, I mean, that's their lives and they're free to do it what they want, but like they won't, uh, they won't answer me on Instagram or anything anymore. Yeah, Alex doesn't give a shit. You're right. Yeah, I think Alex and Brian have had a little bit of friction, but man, that's okay. You know, all your buddies aren't going to get along. He don't hold it against me when I bring up Brian. Brian don't hold it against me when I bring up Alex. Maybe they've squashed their stuff. I don't know. They stopped answering me a while ago. Yeah, that's kind of, we are the kind of the community that built them, and now feels like, they won't even respond. I could be wrong though, man. Maybe it's just me. I haven't spent any money with them, so I don't know. I do know that in 2 hours I raised $800 to buy Lindy a Conegarius, and now they don't associate with me. So it is what it is. For those of you who wasn't around for that happened. Like I put the word out, I wanted to buy Lindy and Arius. This is before knife monitors really took off. And it literally took 2 hours. Everybody pitched the money in, bam. They had the Arius ordered. They had it ordered within an hour. It wasn't even paid for yet. And then another hour was paid for. That's just the power of this community when we decide we want to do something. I'm not saying she owes us anything for that. It'd be nice if, they'd still stop in and say, hey, every now and then. But hey, man, it's their life. I've heard all kind of rumors. People saying, I wonder if they're back on the dope. Man, even if they are, that's none of our damn business. We don't need to be saying stuff like that. Because if they aren't, that's very hurtful. Anybody who's recovering can tell you how hurtful that is. You spend years of your life addicted to something, and then you get clean from it, and people still want to accuse you of it. That has to suck. I was just talking about the power of this community, and it is a great community. But we do kind of kid ourselves sometimes because it can also be a very toxic community, just like all the rest of them, whether we want to admit it or not. Hell, I guess even I'm guilty of some toxicity sometimes. 2025, I'm trying to cut that out, or at least reduce it. Having said that, though, don't think if I catch some Chinese knife skill spreading dishonesty that I won't call it out, but I certainly fucking will. The main reason I say that, the reason why I want to back off on some of that, It really bothers me that a lot of people in the community feel like they have to make excuses to me for why they bought a Chinese knife. And if you know the facts and you decide to buy one, I'm not going to look down on you at all. That's your decision and your money. I've never felt that way. So, and I don't like the idea that somebody would think that I think less of them because of that. It's always been about the dishonesty and the normalization of them costing as much as a U.S. made knife. That's the two things I can't stand. I just watched a video yesterday on a Temu Miller Brothers T1. Guys, that knife looked incredible. If you'd walked up and handed it to me, I wouldn't have known the difference because I'm familiar with the Miller Brothers T1, but not familiar enough to know that it was a clone. It said Miller Brothers on it. It said T1 on it. I got bought that knife for $105. What do you think it cost them to make that? Just guess. If they sold it for $105, shipped from China to here, bet your ass it didn't cost them more than $50, $60 to make it. And that's what these YouTubers are paying to have their shit. Maybe they're not paying that to have their shit made, but that's what it costs to have their shit made. And they just keep stacking on, you know, the markup from this guy to this guy to this guy to this guy and pass it on to us. It's not right. Especially once you exceed the cost of a U.S. made knife. $105 for 2 1/4-inch slabs of titanium, milled very nicely. No telling what the blade was. It's a 1/4 inch thick, and I'm sure it wasn't Z-wear, but they stamped Z-wear on it. Who else do you think has done that? And I'm not saying your favorite YouTuber would do that to you, but they probably don't know. They're probably being lied to as well. See, Donnie, that one stuck pretty good, man. It's peeling off for the most part, but I'm not going to play around with it too long. I'm going to get it fried, I'll get it off later. It's kind of weird that some of them are sticking more than others. Yeah, there's some warmth in that, but not heat. It's amazing stuff how that works. How many more we got? 2. In case you're wondering, that's what they look like. That's just 309 stainless foil. I put it in, I fold it once this way, fold the ends shut, then fold it again this way, then fold the ends again. Crimp it all airtight so that there's no air in there for oxidization. They used to put a piece of paper in there so it would catch on fire and burn up any oxygen inside the packet, but now everybody's saying it's really not necessary. It didn't do enough to matter. Wes, you're 100% right. That's all that movie show is the Oregon Trail. It's incredible, but it'll piss you off that, you know, the second series came out like 40 years later. It got really good into it. It was a little slower, but it started getting good into the show, and then they just stopped. I don't even know if there's any plans to finish it. But if you watch it, it'll piss you off because you'll get into it. And when I say it stops, it's not like there's a season cliffhanger. It's just you get to the last episode and you're expecting the next one, and it never happened. Yeah. You broke a yoke. Susie died of dysentery. Martha got bit by a rattlesnake. Everybody's dead. Actually, my least favorite part of heat treatment is coming up. When I get that last one done, and I have to start the temper cycles. And yeah, there's no, it's just sitting and waiting. Just in case you're wondering, that creek that I cleaned up some before temper, it's just barely got an amber haze to it from the temper. It did not get that vulcanized look that I wanted. In case you're wondering what I'm doing with these, that's the only cutting area you're going to get. It's just a chisel ground. It's mostly about that tip. These are mostly for ventilating objects or beams, whatever you need. I will say though, if I could change one thing about heat treat day, I really, really wish I could do the cryo and then come back and do the temper tomorrow. I thought I could. Then I found out I couldn't. And, you know, guys, I have health issues. That last 4 hours of sitting here is torturous, man. I don't have enough energy to do anything. And I know I've been sitting here. You guys have been watching, not doing much. But, you know, just waiting on this oven. But, you know, I'm tired already. I got 2 knives left to go. That'll be another hour. And then I got 5 hours of temper to go after that. And to be honest, it's not fun. Yeah, heat treat day. That's all I've had lately too, Donnie. Every time I've been to the shop, it's been 10-hour heat treat days. And like I said, I've got, well, I mean, I count over there 30 something that I've still got to do. Some of those are Nitro V, some of those are M4, so I'll break those into 2 different days. I'll do all the Nitro V at once. You know, even though I've got 3 times as many knives to do, it's only gonna, it'll still add another 3 or 4 hours if I try to do them all in one day. Because I'm not doing more than one blade at a time. Oh yeah, you're right, Donnie. I'm not complaining at all, man. A lot of those are sold. I don't have anything to complain about. I'll set a timer on my phone and turn the TV on over there. Get back and watch some shit. So it's funny, we've been live 3 hours, and the viewer count has started to go back up some. Somebody new just said hi. I didn't see who it was. Simon Wood, hey there, how you doing, buddy? I managed to snag a Tanto Unazon earlier today. Been trying to get one. All right, man, congratulations. Homer and have a giveaway on said faction tonight. A Pyrite, Pouch, Zippo, assorted dumb shit. And that Pyrite, I feel like a CJRB new Feldspar. The Feldspar is an excellent design knife. I love the looks of that thing. I used to tell people, you look up knife in the dictionary, it'd probably be a CJRB Feldspar. I wish they, well, I don't wish they offered it in a better steel because they wouldn't do it well, it wouldn't matter. But, you know, if they were on top of their heat treat game and offered them something really good, it would be awesome. But even if they made it in 20 CV or something like that, they'd run it soft. I got really tired of hearing about how great the air retention is on AARP and 9. It is not. That is not true. I've seen it tested. As scientific as you can get, it's not very good. Best heat treat money can buy in a budget knife is still the right P801B. They run that 14C at about 62, 63. It's still the best budget knife ever made. I'm glad you're getting some time off, Palmer. Hope you enjoyed it. We're almost at 10 again. There we go. To the 3 hours and 20 minutes on this timer. Let me go write that down. So far, what I've learned today is writing those times down. It's 30 minutes between knives. By the time this one gets done, it will have been almost exactly 30 minutes since I took the last one out. So if I did all those Nitro V's, shit, man, that'd be 8 hours. Not counting temper, none of that stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to do all those in one day. I bought me a timer so that I can quit having to use my phone. I don't have to sit here and stare at it, so it'll just start beeping when it's time for me to take it out. But I think it won't be here till Tuesday. I got an exciting day Monday though, guys. I get to pick up my 9mm carbine Monday. It's a AR-15 9mm lower, 8-inch barrel with forearm brace. And putting my aim point sight on it and getting a 6-hour scope for my put back on my AR when I take the aim point off. See, one thing I am thankful for when it comes time for temper. That bad boy right there. It's got a hole in it. It's just in the top layer of material. Damn, it's comfortable. I'll at least be able to kick back set an alarm and take it easy while I'm doing my tempering. Probably get home a couple hours before safe action. Started the sequel to 1883 with Harrison Ford, but only made it about one episode. Well, I'll tell you right now, Wes, be glad that you didn't get hooked on it, because that's what I'm talking about. It doesn't, there's no end to it. I don't even think they ever filmed it. I don't think they're going to film an end to it. Yeah, I'll show you the roof. Just a bare metal roof. We got excellent lighting, but there's no insulation up there in the rain. The rain is just loud, man. But I'm fixing to turn this off anyway, guys. It's been well, no, I'm gonna wait till I take this next one out because I'm using this timer. But after I quench this one, we're gonna call it for this live stream. Yeah, we still got 14 minutes. I can't believe people hung out this long. And they got to see some grinding. I believe you weren't here for it. While I was waiting on the oven to heat up, I did some bevel grinding. This should be about 62 HRC Nitro V. The owner, well, the guy that's claimed this knife, I don't like to get paid until I'm done. But ours here, he's in the comments. This is his. I would have shortened that handle some, but I love the shape of it. And if I'd shortened it, it wouldn't look the same. So I'm glad it is the way it is. But it does have more handle than it does blade. The next iteration of it is this. I shrunk it a good bit. I made this tool way too big. So on the next one, I'm going to fix that. That should be the size. As you can see, it's got just a little bit hanging out that bottom like I like. Not a whole lot of cutting length to it, but just plenty. I don't know if I'm ever going to have these in inventory. I'm going to finish this one, see how it turns out and how it looks. If people are interested, I'll be able to make them one. This was a customer design knife as well for a local order. I gotta get this one done for him. He's been waiting forever. I blew through his last one. I tried to grind it so thin, I blew through. Yeah, Wes, I won't lie, I was impressed with the Pyrite too. It's a good looking knife. DH, you talking about since I got the oven or today? I'm doing 6 today. I did 6 the other day, so that's 12, and then 4 on the first day, so that's 16. And just so you know, DH, this is what I have left to heat treat. I got a lot of long days ahead of me, dude. I probably am gonna buy an actual Dewar's and have it filled with liquid nitrogen. just so that, days like today when my energy just runs out and I don't want to have to hang around for temper. If you leave them in, you can leave them in liquid nitrogen, not in dry ice, but in liquid nitrogen overnight and come back and temper the next day. It'd almost be worth it to me just to have that option. Well, DH, it is a pile of money, but there's a lot of work to be done, man. I still have to heat treat them, grind the bevels, make handles, sand them all nice and clean. That's a lot of work laying over there. Many, many hours in the shop. But for those of you who know me well, if I'm not in the shop, I'm laid in the bed, rotting. So being in the shop's a good thing for me. We're gonna have a problem in a minute. Oh, never mind. Thought I'd lost my dip, man. It's gonna flip out. Can you have that? Yeah, Wes, I'd love to have a Legion too. But I think I'm going to get a Canic instead just because of the, I shot both at the SOE range day. I'm just going to be as honest as I can, man. I'd soon have one as the other, so. I don't think I'll spend the extra money for the Legion. I gotta figure out how this TV works eventually. If I can have some entertainment here in a little bit. Of course, I'm still an hour away from that, so. It's gonna be weird. I'll turn it on YouTube and watch myself stand here, watching myself stand here, watching myself stand here. That'll be strange. Look at that head. That's weird. I only wanted to find YouTube so I can watch it after I get done over here. Oh, now I gotta turn it down. Well, I'm even uglier on the big screen. That's horrible. I'll figure this out. Maybe that's not it. I didn't see a volume on this thing. There we go. Oh, I'm ugly. See myself on this small screen is a little more forgiving. Now, DH, they're not all heathens. I've got some heathens in that bunch, but they're all in M4. I'll show you. I've got them taped up so that to keep them separated from the Nitro V. There's a couple of heathens in here. I think there's 2 heathens, a goon, and a custom order for a local guy, just like a skinning knife. All right, it's time. Oh, my counter reset. Let me check this over here. So that's why I need an accurate timer. My live stream counter reset. But I've got this one on here about 3 more minutes. That's shitty. But I can go by that one. That's why I ordered a digital timer. Well, I guess I'm going to call it, guys, now that I'm not having to use the timer anymore. Vise is right there, DH, but I'm not using a vise on my quench plates because everybody's told me that the easiest way to mess up your HRC doing multiple knives is to have the quench plates get warm and be different temperatures, so I dipped them in cold water. So because of that, they're not attached to a vise. Anyway, I'm going to end it, guys, because I got to get this one out of the oven. I appreciate y'all joining in. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Peace.